What's going on, my friends? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today. And what I want to look at was Bitcoin dominance. I know a lot of us are in this space for the altcoin season that potentially could be coming down the road here. I want to give you some of the clues that I look for to see if Bitcoin dominance is actually dropping. And what we're going to need to do for that is go into the Bitcoin dominance chart. We're going to be on the weekly time frame. And again, we're going to use this step line graph. I think the step line graph is really good for support and resistance areas for us, and to also see trends and see how trends are playing out. So if we take a look at the Bitcoin dominance on the weekly time frame here, it has just been a complete steady uptrend. If I turn on some of my indicators, just to give you an example here of our moving average, we have just been clung to and have stayed up above this 50-week moving average, and that's going to be in red. So one of the first things that we need to see is us losing that 50-week moving average like we did back here when we got our altcoin cycle. We busted right through that 50, and then we dropped through our 200-week moving average. And what you can see is that from that area, we went straight down. We went from a dominance once we cracked through that 200-week moving average from about 59% all the way down to 40%. It happened in a really quick fashion with a lot of haste. So now what we're looking for here, guys, is first to see if we can break down through this 50-week moving average. So we need to lose that. We also need to set a weekly lower high and then get in this weekly downtrend. Another thing that I like to point out, and I think has been pretty sufficient for us as we take a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, is this MACD, this weekly MACD. So I wanted to point out that since February 6, 2023, this MACD, both of these lines, our 12 and our 26 simple moving average, have been trading up above the zero line. So that is a lot of time, guys. You're talking over 2 years now that we have traded up above. If you can take a look at this MACD, just to give you an example here of how much time we have spent up above this zero line. So the main thing, I know we've gotten a downside cross here, but we actually want to start cracking back down through this zero line, which we are not at yet. Right now, the money flow is still going to be at a positive 0.14. And another nice thing that's finally starting to take place as we've had this run for the last 2 years in Bitcoin dominance, you can see, guys, in your lazy bear squeeze, for the most part, we have only had green histogram. And what's starting to happen now, it's trying to take place, is starting to get down into the red here. So you can see the histogram, how we were losing steam, and now we're actually starting to break into the red, and we're getting one of these yellow trigger fire signals to the downside. So we're seeing some things that we want to see here for Bitcoin dominance. We're just not fully there yet. Now, if we go to the daily time frame, it's starting to look a little bit better for us, which is good. On the daily time frame now, we have lost our 200-day simple moving average, and that's going to be in white. And what I do like about this is that we've retested this, and now I want to see if we can stay underneath it and if we're going to get that next drop to the downside, because this 200-day moving average is acting as overhead resistance, as well as this 50-day moving average now. So this is what we wanted to see here. We've got this big drop, and now we're seeing this reaction. We're going to see if we have another drop to the downside coming up here. If we take a look at our Lux algo, though, this is a main area that's marked as a strong low. So you can see we've gotten a bounce from this area. So now we just have to see if we're able to hold it or if this is going to start rolling over. And if we get into our indicators, here, guys, our lazy bear squeeze, we are still in the red. Histogram's trying here to gain a little bit of strength, but still in the red there. Money flows still in the negative, so we have a negative 0.09, which is good, and our MACD is still below this zero line. So on the 1 day time frame, we're looking better. We look like we may be able to potentially have another drop to the downside for Bitcoin dominance coming up. But on the weekly time frame, we still have some more work to do. So if we look at the Bitcoin dominance here, and I just want to see if we can do some technicals for us. So if we get into the monthly time frame, remember, this is what we want to do. This is going to calculate all of our oscillators and our moving averages and just kind of give us a buy or a sell signal, just roughly. So on the 1 month time frame here, we have a 3 sell, a 10 neutral, and 11 buy. So on the Bitcoin dominance chart, we're still a buy on the big driver, the Titanic time frame, which is the monthly time frame. On the 1 week time frame, now we have shifted to neutral. We have a 9 sell, a 9 neutral, and an 8 buy. Then if we get into the 1 day time frame, we have finally gotten into the sell. So we have a 12 sell, a 10 neutral, and a 4 buy. And if you align those things here, we have a buy on the monthly, We have a neutral on the weekly, and we have a sell on the 1 day. So we are starting to weaken just a little bit there. We just need that 1 week time frame, that MACD, to really start dropping below that zero line to give some more confirmation to us. But what I believe, guys, just due to the fact that Bitcoin has went from $16,000 up to, $122,000, $123,000, that's been one heck of a run. And in my opinion, a lot of guys who are looking for exponential gains, or these rich greedy guys, they're essentially going to want higher gains. And if Bitcoin goes from $113,000 to 150 from here, they want more gains than that. And that's why the money starts rotating from Bitcoin into Ethereum, that into some of these altcoins. Guys are essentially chasing more gains. They want to get more gains than what they would get from Bitcoin, since Bitcoin's already made a major move from that $16,000. Not saying Bitcoin can't continue to go higher, guys, and break past that $150,000. I'm just saying that's why alt season happens. When it does happen, is that you get the big dogs essentially chasing higher gains. They want those 100% gain, 500% gain, 1,000% gain, because they're able to manipulate some of these smaller currencies. And that's typically what happens. You get that money trickles down from Bitcoin and then to Ethereum, then the large caps, then the smaller caps, if this is going to play out like similar cycles. Every cycle is different, but I wanted to put this out there for you guys and just realize that we are getting closer, but we're not technically there yet. Still have a little bit of waiting to do, but it's a good idea to just plan some of those positions, be in those positions for if it does take off. That's my best opinion, guys. God bless each and every one of you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you get something from this. Take care, my friends.